One of the things that I wanted to show is she had zero interest in retrieving. And I'm not too worried about it. She's 10 weeks old right now. She just didn't really show much natural desire to pick this up. Like, I couldn't even get her to chase it first couple weeks. I'd throw it, she'd ignore it. She's pretty easily distracted. I took a balled up sock early on. I'm just gonna roll this little glove up, see if she does it similar. We had a nice little breakthrough this morning, and I just tried something for the first time. I've never done it before. But come here. Hey, come here. Come here. And so let's see if she picks that up. When I threw the balled up sock before, I couldn't even get her to chase it. So. Good girl. Now she's at least going and getting my glove. So that's great. That's literally after a session this morning that I feel like was kind of a breakthrough. I'm going to show you what I did because I've never done it before, and it worked pretty good. It seemed to work pretty good because I followed it up with some puppy retrieves. But one thing about Maquina is she is pretty food motivated. And I have been working on just getting her to like me a little bit more. And I want her to come to me. So see how she runs off? Well, she's coming in, and the only reason she's coming in is because she thinks I might have some food. Here, okay. So I have been kind of teaching her to take some food from my hand. I get really good response from her for food. She's pretty food driven. She eats well. When I make a bowl of food for her and get it set, she eats really well. I'm not giving her food every time because she very quickly, as soon as there's no food involved, decides I'm not interested anymore. So I don't want it to become so dependent on having to have food in order to get the dog's attention and getting them to do what I want to do. I'm not into treat training from that perspective, but I am into the idea of using this kibble as a motivator for certain things. And so I want her to get used to me putting my hands. She has a tendency to want to like really duck away from me. When I reach out to her without this food, if I didn't have food around right now, I'd reach out to her and she'd scoot. She'd scoot away from me. She's just not a real warm, cuddling in dog. And so that's part of why I am using some more food. I'm trying to get her used to me touching her. Petting her. She doesn't like to be petted on the top of her head typically. She likes to duck away from that. So one of the things I have been doing is petting her on her chest. But this is just a little session where I'm trying to get her to come to me a little bit more. Okay. See how she just ducks away? That's her move. She's real good at that. If I stand up, it's even worse. See how I reach out for her and she wants to duck away? Now, it's way better than what it was, and it's because we've been using a little bit of food. We started out with some food, and so she has this thought in her mind of, he might have food. Now she just realized he doesn't have any food anymore. Off she goes. Come here. Come here. So no food, she goes, I'm not coming. Come here. She's paying attention more to the other dogs. So I do want her, so we are going to use the food a little bit more to shape this idea of come to him, come to him, come to him. She'll get food maybe 1 out of 3 times, maybe every other time. Here's what I'm going to show you about retrieving. One of the things I did this morning was, because she dials into the food so well, I started throwing it for her. And the first few times I did this, she couldn't even, so I'm using just tiny little puppy kibble. The first few times I did it, I would throw it and she wouldn't even track it. she'd just follow. She'd come to my hand because she thought the food was coming from my hand, just like that. So the first few times that I threw it on the ground, good girl, good girl. It actually took a little while for her to hear that hit the ground, and then she'd track it over and pick it up. Good girl. Good girl. And it became this little game, and it's pretty fun to her. She's getting a nice little reward at the end. Now I use food with my retrievers. I sprinkle it in the food ground and let her hunt for it, use their nose and get the reward as a hunt command. I started doing this with her this morning, and again, prior to me doing this, I tried teasing her with a balled up sock. I tried this puppy dummy. I went in the hallway. I would literally throw it down, and she like occasionally would go towards it a few steps. She just didn't have a lot of drive, a lot of predator prey in her to go get it. But as soon as I realized how much she likes food, and especially at feeding times, like we're not even doing feeding time now. This is midday. Normally we won't. Good girl. See how she had to stick with that one? She lost that one. But I played this little game of chase the food down the... And it for a while there, 3-4 of them she couldn't find. She just didn't connect the idea of like hearing it, seeing it, the action that I actually can get stuff to go away from her. So this one sneaks by her. Let's let her see if she can find that one. So she heard one go, so she hunted for it, and then she went, I'm gonna go back to the source. Now I like her little inquisitiveness right now. Searching out, using her nose. Good girl, that's a good dog, come on, good girl. And then she can come back, I'll pet her for that one. So, come here, good. I'll pet her for that one. She goes, oh, no food. 2 in a row. That one, she goes, oh, there was food. Good, good. Little reward. Good girl, come here. Come on, good. That's all I did this morning. Come here. Good. Good. There's that shying away, so we're not gonna chase her. Good. Instead, I let her come in, let her get a little praise. Come here, come here. Come here. All I want right now is for her to get used to liking the idea of fun little game with Dad. I love her climbing up on me right now. Normally I don't want a dog climbing up on me because she doesn't want to climb up on me and wants to stay at a little bit of a distance. I want her to feel more comfortable. I can always turn her off of this later, but I'm gonna let her climb up on me. I'm gonna touch her with both hands. I don't want her pulling away. But all I wanted to show you was playing fetch with a piece of food. And the retrieve part isn't there. But before I can get her retrieved, like I couldn't get her to chase the dummy down to pick it up and bring it back. Well, in order for a dog to retrieve it, they gotta go out, get it, and bring it back. Usually I have a hard time getting them to bring it back. I couldn't even get her to go out. So today, we decided, let's fix one thing at a time. You can't get a dog to come back with it until they go out to get it. So by just taking a little bit of food, and I think it made a big difference that it was a little bit of food. When I say little, I mean like the size of the kibble is tiny. And it's on this brown floor, and she doesn't even know I just threw one. Couldn't see it, couldn't hear it, but she goes, well, he acts like I kind of did. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, what's that? Good girl. Good girl. girl. Good dog. That is a good girl. Come here. So she goes out for a reward, comes back in. Good. Good. Every so often she gets a reward for that too. Good girl. But what a difference that made this morning. Then all of a sudden I took the puppy dummy. See how she wants to duck out? So leave her alone. You want to go away from me? I'll go away from you. Good. I'm not going to fix that in one session, but it's actually getting a little bit better. And part of it is because as soon as I recognize from day one I recognize she doesn't really want to be that close to me. So it's something that we're going to constantly work on here early on. And it's not just going to be because I got a pocket full of food. But we're going to use it to start breaking down the wall a little bit. Good girl. And I used it for the first time that I've ever had to use kibble. Now, I have not steadied her up to a bowl of food yet at feeding time. I'm not gonna for a while. Just don't see the reason to right now. I simply was trying to get her. I was testing her out to see. I told my buddy Chris, who's got a puppy out of the same kennel, we were talking about retrieving, and I said, yeah, she's zero retrieve. She just doesn't have an interest in retrieving. Good girl. That's it. Good girl. So I'll take that. Could not get her to go out after it prior to this morning's food retrieving. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it. I didn't do a very good job of building that one up. Come here. What's this? What's this? There. Good dog. Good dog. Good dog. I'll take that all day long. Give it back to her. Good girl. Not big on the laying down with it, but you know what? You got to get step 1 before you can have step 2, 3, 4. So don't want to run it off with it, so just hang on to her. Good girl. You want to hold on to it? You can hold on to it. You're done with it? You can be done with it too. And that's it. So very simple. Doesn't look like much. To me, it was huge progress. And it came, I think, from that game of just playing fetch with the idea of throwing a little kibble out and getting her to understand, run out and catch it, run out and catch it, run out and catch it, run out and catch it. And then it ran out and pick up that dummy. And all of a sudden, I'm unlocking. Do I think I magically trained the dog to retrieve? No. Do I think it was in her? Probably. Do I think it took that to get it out? Yeah, to start. So you have to be creative sometimes. I've never had to do that before. It was worth a shot. Maybe that's not the answer going forward, but it's at least one way to unlock a little bit of what we're looking for. So that'll be that for really kind of our first little session for you guys that I filmed with that GoPro.